tomato seed makes even the highest flyers seem paltry. It's really beautiful. And while we're appreciating the gems of such authentic, nuanced conversation, let's throw in E.F. Schumacher, who wrote in Small is Beautiful, "The richer a society, the more difficult it becomes to do things that lack an immediate payoff." And while Schumacher is not with us in this room today, he is. David Orr has contributed many times and in many ways to this conversation, but let's just appreciate here his pithy description of entrepreneurship. Hope is a verb with its sleeves rolled up. I didn't do that on purpose. And finally, this from one Carlo Petrini. Think about the period of the Renaissance, the period of the Enlightenment, when investors would invest in things of beauty. They left things to the world that were quite beautiful. Over the next 2 days, it is to the next stages of this kind of conversation that we will all have the opportunity to lend our voices. Because Carlo is here with us, I wanted to share a story. A few of you were in the room when this occurred. I don't know if you remember it exactly the way I do. But Carlo was addressing an investor circle in San Francisco, a group of angel investors, over lunch. And as you will find out at the end of the day today, Carlo speaks Italian, and we'll have a translator translating for him. And he stood up and he said, in Italian, "Our fate is in the hands of idiots." Now, you're going to see what a bad imitation of Carlo that just was. Whether he was referring to certain national political leaders or the management of companies that make GMOs and pesticides, I don't remember. But I do remember that in the same remarks, he listed brand names of herbicides and pesticides, commenting on how many of them incorporated overtly military references. Here are some brand names for pesticides and herbicides: Barricade, Brawl, Command, Guardsman, Gunslinger, Impact, kind of interesting, Marksman, Raptor, Squadron, Stealth, Surge, Vanquish, Everdeath, Doom, Fast Kill, Combat, and Bazooka. There is surely more than a little idiocy in a situation that provides financial incentives for the broad application of pesticides when less than 1% of these pesticides reach their targeted pests. Less than 1%. We could have a discussion about efficiency and diversity and violence in this regard, couldn't we? This kind of inefficiency is just one manifestation of even greater systemic economic inefficiencies. If the US consumes 25% of the world's resources but has only 5% of the world's population, we can hardly call a modern industrial economy efficient. If every day the global industrial economy consumes stored solar energy in the form of fossil fuels that it took 10,000 years to make, we can hardly call this efficient. But this didn't all come about because the people at the helm of industry are idiots. It came about because of people who are just a bit too clever for the overall good of future generations. So, Carlo, I think you're in the room somewhere. I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to your diagnosis of our fate. Our fate is in the hands of experts. Our fate is in the hands of technologists. Our fate is in the hands of fundamentalists, by which I mean not only religious fundamentalists, but free market fundamentalists as well. Surely our fate is in the hands of military industrialists, even more than it was when President Eisenhower issued his Prussian warning after World War II. And our fate is in the hands of fiduciaries. But if it is true that our fate is in all those hands, it is also true that we hold the seeds of a different future in our own hands. It's a future towards which the phrases slow money and nurture capital point. It's a future that will have fewer industrial farmers who spend only 45 minutes per year on each acre of their land. Just think of the process of what that means. That's right. The typical large-scale industrial corn and soybean farmer spends only 45 minutes a year on each acre of their land. What do you want to call that? Efficient agriculture? Fast? Crazy. Fast agriculture? Abusive agriculture. Phrases like fast agriculture and slow money and nurture capital and innate value, and maybe even heroic grunt, begin to give us a vocabulary with which we can have our new conversation. So in this spirit, in the spirit of not only seeking a new kind of accounting, but also looking for new language, I would like to offer a new term today. I want to get down into the linguistic soil and get our hands dirty, and I want us to have a little fun, since economics is such a dismally dull science and humor a much needed antidote. So, bear with me and entertain for a few playful moments the idea of turning the concept of fiduciary responsibility around all the way down to the very word itself. So here it is, a new term to contribute to our new conversation. That's not crazy.